Okay, before I start this recording, just a little update on what's been going on at the HSOH School of Hypnotherapy recently. Unfortunately, my PA, who usually does all my social media and everything else, unfortunately she's having to take time off for personal reasons. So that leaves me trying to keep everything up to date, all my social media, that's posting on Instagram, Facebook, business page, as well as seeing clients, teaching and everything else I do. So you'll have to excuse this video if it's not as professional as it usually is, but it's my first attempt on actually posting on YouTube on my own. And they say learning keeps you young. So I was thinking, what should I really talk about? Before my PA had her personal issues, we were going to do a live podcast. I love doing the live podcast. And this time it was going to be just me. And we were going to talk about the Ideomotor Response, the IMR, regression, inner child and Gestalt, because this is my absolute skill set as a hypnotherapist. I absolutely love working with the IMR. And I remember my training over 20 years ago now. We had a day's training on IMR, and the trainer said, oh, it's really difficult to learn, it doesn't really work, so I wouldn't bother with it. Wow, me being me, I'm thinking a technique that bypasses the subconscious mind, it is a direct link to the conscious mind. That's fascinating, absolutely fascinating. So, over my years in my therapy room with clients, I practiced the IMR, and I failed and I failed and I failed. And the truth is, what we don't really realise is we are comfortable with failure. What frightens us is success. And the first time I heard that saying, I thought, really? And then when I really sat down and thought about it, we are comfortable with failure. It's normal for us. When we're born, we don't come out talking, singing, dancing, riding bikes, having all these interests that we have. We have to learn. And the only way we learn is by actually doing something. And most of the time, we get it wrong. So if you can remember all those years ago when you were learning to walk, you had to keep practicing at it. And you practiced and practiced until now, for all of us that are physically and mentally able, we can all walk. Most of us could talk. Some of us could talk better than others. I think I've quite mastered the art of talking. It's what I love doing. And it's actually, when you think about it, being a hypnotherapist, people pay me to talk. Well, no wonder I love my job so much. So I practiced and practiced and practiced the IMR until I felt really, really confident at it. And it's a technique that I use in every single session with whatever a client comes for. And in my opinion, it's the only technique that is client-centered. I've just finished working with a client this morning, and she's in a pretty sad space. Her partner of 20 odd years passed away, even though it was a long illness. Well, actually, it was 2 years, which is long when you're living it. Obviously, she's very, very sad, and she wants to find hope and everything else in her life. Well, using the IMR is where you get to choose a finger, and I bypass your conscious mind. Asking the subconscious mind how to help this wonderful lady to start moving forward and finding hope and purpose in her life again, without me making her fit the tool set that I have in my toolbox. And it was lovely because she's only just left, and she left with a smile on her face. Still sad, of course you're sad. When you lose someone, sadness is part and parcel of it. However, she's feeling relaxed, calm, purpose in her life. So the Ideomotor Response, how does it work? Well, it works, the way I teach it, it works by choosing a finger. Once you're relaxed and you're in hypnosis, you choose a finger and you lift a finger in the air. Actually, I'm going off track again because that's typical me, because with this client, because people do a certain amount of research on hypnosis. One of the things that drives me nuts, when they do the research, they're forever saying, well, she said, you know, I said, what do you know about hypnotherapy? And she said, well, I've read that not all of us are susceptible to hypnotherapy. That really drives me nuts when people say that, because the truth is, we can all be hypnotized. It's whether we want to be, or whether we agree with the suggestions that are being taken on with us. So we are all susceptible. It's just that some of us are better at being hypnotized than other. You know, my daughter, who I've been hypnotizing since she was 14 years old, oh, I wish I was as good at hypnosis as she is. She is absolutely fantastic at hypnosis. She's one of those, you know, the stage hypnotist, 3, 2, 1, sleep. That's my daughter. I can't do that. I wish I could. I've tried and I've tried. I am good enough now at hypnosis that when there's a stage show, I can be chosen to go up on the stage, but I can't drop that I just can't let go of that last little bit. So I'm always the ones that's sent back down to sit down. My daughter, I've said to her on many occasions, if you ever see a stage hypnotist, do not follow it. She says, I will. And I know she would. She'd make an absolute fool of herself. It's not, hypnosis is not about being susceptible. It's about being open and wanting the change that you have worked with your therapists. And it's not a magic wand. But the truth is, in my opinion, we have every resource available inside of us. We all know how to be happy, we know how to be sad, we know how to be excited, we know how to be miserable, we know how to be angry. And what a hypnotherapist who's trained properly, sorry, but so many aren't. I don't even know if I should say that, but if you have proper training as a hypnotherapist, what our job consists of is helping people to achieve what they want to achieve. And it's being able to find out, do we need to look at causes? Do we need to do parts therapy? Is it a habit the client's got into? And if in your therapy room you're thinking, right, I'm going to do regression on this, it may not be regression that client needs. I'm going to do CBT, I'm going to do IEMT, EMD, all these other things that are available. All effective. However, if you don't, in my opinion, if you don't find out from the subconscious mind what technique's going to help that particular, because there's no one style of hypnotherapy that fits all. You know, hypnotherapy isn't 100% successful. Nothing's 100% successful. We are all unique and purposeful. So the Ideomotor Response is a way of finding out if the techniques that you have in your toolbox are the ones that are appropriate to help that particular client. So what does it entail? It entails obviously explaining to a client before they're hypnotised that you're going to ask them to choose a finger and lift a finger in the air, and then you're going to find out if there's anything causing, if it's a habit or other bits. And you take them into hypnosis, you get them to choose a finger, and then you start bypassing the conscious analytical mind to find out if anything's causing people. And it is hard to learn, mainly because when you are learning to facilitate the IMR, you get a lot of failures, and there's loads and loads of different reasons why it's not working, what's happening and everything else. That's why it's so important to have training with someone like myself, who, that is my skill set. You know, I've been facilitating the Ideomotor Response now for over 22 years, and when I started teaching myself it, I did have lots of failures, and I had failure after failure, but every time I had a success, I noticed my clients got their changes much, 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 much quicker. And so once they've chosen the finger, you then find out if there's anything causing them to be where they're at, if it's a habit they've got themselves into, whether we need to look at causes, whether we need to look at habits. So at this stage, I am not making a client fit my therapy. I am finding out which is the best way to help the client. And the Ideomotor Response is used lots and lots and lots of different ways. I'm afraid I like everything simple. So for me, once they're relaxed, I just want a yes, no answer. There are other trainings that teach you with a yes, no, don't want to know. You can nod your head, move your foot. Oh, that's all too complicated for me. I like it simple. And do you know what? I think people are quite simple. All we want to be is happy. You feel good inside, you will feel good outside. And there's loads of there's loads of sayings like seeing is believing. If you can see yourself in your mind as a successful, happy person, and your mind believes it, you will start focusing on that. And whatever we focus on in life, if we focus on being happy. One of my favourites say, Richard Bandler. I love Richard Bandler. I just think he's an amazing, amazing guy. And when I did some training with him, do you know, I felt so honoured meeting him. It was, I was meeting my hero. So I absolutely love. And one of the things, well, there's loads of things that he says that I absolutely love. And one of the things he says is, we all know how much misery and pain we can stand. We can stand even more misery and pain than we can even imagine. But have you ever thought, how much happiness could you bear? How happy could you bear to be? And it's true, isn't it? It's true. When you wake up in the morning, for most of us, we all have certain things that we can be happy about. For me, it's the views. Where I live, I wake up in the morning. The first thing I do is I get out of bed and I open my curtains, and I am looking over. I'm a country girl. I love the views on the country. And then I'll pad downstairs, make myself a cup of coffee, get back into bed, and I just look at the amazing views. And basically that's how I start my day. Because fortunately with my job, I don't have to get up ridiculously early. 99% of the time I can wake up naturally, which I believe is also a great benefit as well. So you start off your day looking for something to be happy about, and you continue looking for things to be happy about, and you find yourself looking more and more for happiness. And I love that saying, how much happiness could you stand? Just a thought. Keep that in mind for the rest of your life. And another trainer said to me once, many years ago, if you have food in your stomach, roof over your head, everything else in life is a bonus. And I think that's a great saying as well. And part of why I do love being a hypnotherapist is we are very goal orientated, and we're always focusing on what people want to achieve. And for me, I think it's a very, very beneficial therapy, so much so that I've hypnotherapy quite regularly myself. And the IMR, my absolute skill set, is what I love teaching. And I love teaching it because I love it when delegates, when I do my CPD course, you only get one day. I don't get to hear the wonderful stories. Although I must confess, I do hear back from others like years later on how much it helped them in their therapy room. I always remember years ago, one guy, after he'd done my CPD, which is continual professional development course, he emailed me and he said, Lorraine, I actually feel like a real hypnotherapist now. And I thought it was a great thing to say to him. And when I teach on my diploma course, we spend week in and week out practicing the Ideomotor Response. And they do case studies. And I do find it quite odd when they come back to class and they tell me it worked. I say, oh, well, that's refreshing to know what I teach actually works. And if you'd like to find out more about the IMR, Ideomotor Response, this comes to my sales pitch. I've written a book. Actually, I've written 2 books. The other one's upstairs. The first book I wrote is How to Be a Hypnotherapist by Lorraine Gleason. But this is how to use IMR, regression, Gestalt and inner child techniques. And it basically is the 22 years of my experiences of being in a hypnotherapy room. And just before I jumped on, because I only published this, I think last year, hasn't been out long. And I'm terrible because I don't look to see if I have reviews. So I hopped onto Amazon before I came on here. And there are 2 lovely, lovely, lovely reviews. And I do actually know both of them because I do remember them both on my CPD courses, that they've said really nice words for me. And the Ideomotor Response, I write very simply because I work with clients very simply. And if you'd like maybe to look at our diploma course, which is available on my website, which is www.hso.co.uk, you will also find on there, I forgot what I was going to say then. You'll also find on there all my CPD trainings, because I do a day's training with IMR, regression, inner child, Gestalt techniques. And inner child, oh, that is so empowering for people. I may at some point later write another book on how I facilitate the inner child and the Gestalt therapies. But that is just a thought in my mind for the future. Who knows what the future may hold. Now, if you have enjoyed this video, and hopefully it's sort of professional, and if you have any advice on how I can improve, please put it in the comments, because I am learning how to facilitate all of this. Hopefully afterwards there'll be subtitles on this video. I've had a go at that yesterday as well. If you have enjoyed it, please subscribe to my channel below, and I will endeavour to jump on every now and again and keep this YouTube channel as up to date as I possibly can. And you may even notice that the more I'm doing it, the more professional I become. Hypnotherapy, I can do with my eyes closed. I often do. Technology, I love, absolutely love the technology. It makes our lives much, much simpler. But I am on a learning curve at the moment. And if you're interested in working with me as a hypnotherapist, I also have my other website, which is www.lorrainegleason.com. I hope to hear from you soon. Thank you for watching.